Hello my kin, my name is Kin Ping, but you can call me Kin, and today I'm here with a video talking about Middle-earth Shadow of War. And so if you guys know, Middle-earth Shadow of War is the sequel to Shadow of Mordor, and this game came out in 2017, and you know, it's a pretty famous game, mostly for the Nemesis system, which it introduced, which is often, you know, praised and everything like that. And I thought I'd just make a little video, because I'm playing through it now, and I thought I'd make a little video about whether this game is worth playing in 2023, basically. It's 6 years old at the moment, and it's got some good parts, it's got some, you know, dated parts, but overall, you know, it's an okay game. So, I'll start off with talking about the story. So obviously this is a story game through and through, basically. Obviously you're playing as Talion with Celebrimbor as your, like, I guess you could say mentor kind of figure. Well, technically you're playing as both of them at the same time, but you're meant to be playing as Talion, and you've got Celebrimbor there with you, who is the one that actually made the rings. So if you're into the Tolkien lore of Middle-earth, and especially during the like second and third age, this is totally for you. It does change some of the lore. Well, I don't think it changes a lot of the lore, but it changes it slightly. It's not canon to either the books or the movies, but it tries to stick as close to both of them as it can. It's a little bit of a spoiler, so if you don't want spoilers, you should skip over this little section, but characters like Gollum are present, and obviously Sauron's present, and the Ringwraiths are present as well. They fight, you know, you get to fight them and everything. But, you know, it tries to stick, I think it tries to stick to Peter Jackson's movies a lot more than the books, from what I think anyway. And it goes for a little more stylized Peter Jackson. That's basically how I put it. Slightly stylized Peter Jackson movies. That's the kind of vibe of Lord of the Rings that it goes for, or the vibe of the Middle-earth that it goes for. You know, with characters like Shelob and everything. So it is pretty good, very similar to Peter Jackson's, much better than, like, say, Rings of Power was. Rings of Power was dog shit compared to, like, every other Middle-earth thing ever, and so, Middle-earth, Shadow of War, and Shadow of Mordor actually feel like they are set in Middle-earth, and feel like, you know, even if Tolkien hadn't made it, it still feels, you know, Tolkien-esque. I think that's the best way to put it. Anyway, as for the story itself, the story can be really slow in points. It can be kind of hard to keep track of because it's a bit repetitive in points, and the missions, some of them aren't the most interesting, and it's not really... The story is there, and it is good, but that's not really what you're meant to play the game for. I mean, it's got great characters, and I think Celebrimbor is probably one of the best characters I have, like, ever encountered in a video game. I don't know why. I know he's not amazing as a character, I just really like him for some reason. So that's why I'm playing through it again, because I think he's just such a cool character. But it does have cool characters here and there, and then it has the Nemesis system, which can introduce a lot more characters, and that is what you play the game for. Or the things related to the Nemesis system is what you play the game for.
Man-swine! Come at me, Pigskin! I welcome your feeble blows. I laugh as you break yourself against me. Bog.
So the Nemesis system is a system that allows you to generate stories and interactions with different orcs. All these orcs are like auto-generated, kind of just pulled together to make something, right? And so during your progress throughout the story, as you kill orcs, gain some warlords, slowly build up like your own fortresses and make your own orc army, you'll start finding that you have more interactions with certain orcs than you do others. So like there'll be one orc that you may even kill, and then somewhere down the line, some random time when you've just almost completely forgotten about him, boom, he's back, and he's got like a metal arm or something, and he's back, and he's like, you can't kill me this time. And it just generates stories, and the more you play, the more these orcs will reoccur in your stories, and it's all generated so no one playthrough will be the same. So these orcs will appear, they'll just, you know, have different stories throughout, and it's really cool. It just creates a personalized feel to every playthrough. That's why I think the ability to play this game multiple times is what makes it shine, because the Nemesis system is the big calling card, or the... Yeah, it's this game's big card. If You like the idea of that, of having characters you can interact with that are generated each different time, and you know, none of them will be the same. That's what this game is all about, you know. There's like a gear system as well. There's an upgrade system. You know, you can use learn different abilities. You can use different equipment. You can make different combos with your equipment and abilities. You can become really, really powerful. And the fighting is really good as well. Now, I want to compare it to two games, which I think are very good. The fact that I'm comparing to these games is not saying that they stole stuff from these games. I'm simply saying that the aspects of Middle-earth Shadow of War are very similar to these games. So the first one would be Batman games. If you've played any of the Batman Arkham games, that is the combat in this game. The Batman Arkham games have a simple left click for attack, right click for counter, and then, you know, number buttons or something for different abilities, basically. You know, to throw the Batarang, to do spray gel, stuff like that. That is the combat system in Shadow of War. You got left click to attack, right click to parry, then you have holding down attack, gives you a big area of effect attack. You can dominate people if you press E. So you just have different abilities, but at its core, it is a Batman Arkham combat game. And so that is the combat there, and it's a type of combat that's easy to master and just looks really cool. So it's actually really, really fun, you know, and it involves a lot of, you know, jumping, like Dark Souls kind of stuff, you know, rolling and stuff. But it is very cool. I think it does suit the character as well. Talion and Celebrimbor are quite active, agile characters, so it makes sense in that regard. And then the other game I'd like to compare it to is the Assassin's Creed games. This game has a lot of, not necessarily parkour, but there's a lot of climbing and running and sprinting, and you can use your elven agility to do certain things, and that's all really fun as well. It's not as heavily like used as say the combat system from Batman is, because the combat is, you know, one of the main points. But yeah, you can still climb basically everywhere, and exploration is a very good, a very big part of the game. So running around and finding collectibles and stuff is, you know, a big part of some of the game loop and everything like that. You don't have to, but it is a big part. And so now, is it worth playing in 2023? That is the question. So this game, I remember playing it, I think maybe a year after it came out. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I remember it being really fun then, and it is still fun. I still find it really enjoyable and just interesting to play, and I love seeing the different kind of orcs I always find. That's why I play it. I play it to see the orcs, upgrade my army, to have cool fights. It's still an enjoyable game, and none of the gameplay mechanics feel outdated. Some of the menus do, and some of the just simple quality of life things feel slightly outdated, like not being able to remove some items from inventory, not being able to do, you know, certain things, and having the menus, you have to go through certain things to get to this part of the menu, and there's no like certain, you know, shortcut, I guess, but that could just be me. But I just find some of that little stuff like UI and quality of life stuff is a tiny bit outdated, but otherwise it's fine. Graphics still look really good. Cutscenes are, you know, still really solid. It actually looked really nice. Not as good as the Batman games. I hate to compare everything to them, but just as an example, not as good as the Batman games. Batman games still look amazing, but Shadow of War still looks very good, and, you know, voice acting is amazing. I'm not sure if they used motion capture, but the way people move, the way orcs move, the combat is real fluid. It's really nice. I think the weakest part of this game is the story, because even though the story is amazing, don't get me wrong, it is really cool. It has some awesome moments, and it's got some great characters, but it does feel slightly disjointed when you have to run to different parts of the map to do these certain missions that don't really feel like properly connected. And I often find myself going around doing this one mission and then spending about an hour just doing random orcs things, completely forgetting what the actual main story is, then going into this cutscene and just going, what the hell's going on? I can't remember any of this stuff. So that's probably the weakest point, even though it's not that much of a weak point. It wants to show off the Nemesis system as much as it wants, and that's completely fine because it is amazing and it's an awesome part of the game. So I do recommend you to play this in 2023. It's not that expensive on Steam at all, and it's often on sale every now and then, so it's totally worth playing if you want something to mess around with, if you want something to get into a Lord of the Rings kind of vibe, basically, if you want to enjoy Middle-earth, because all the recent stuff has been pretty dog shit. It is really, really fun. Characters are great. Main two characters are awesome. So yeah, it is worth playing. I would definitely recommend that you guys, you know, if you're low on games at the moment, and if you just want to play something that has a okay story, awesome specialized system of its own, cool combat, parkour kind of stuff, it's perfect, and it does give a really good Tolkien kind of feel while not directly associating itself with the Tolkien book, with the associated book universe and movie universe, which is really good. Anyway, guys, I think that's just all I got to say. I just wanted to talk about this game a lot, because I do really like it. I do suggest you go and play it. I think it's aged decently well, and it is just a fun game. Should be talked about more, especially now that this Wonder Woman game is rumored to possibly have the Nemesis system, or a system like it. This is definitely a game you want to play beforehand, so you know what you're getting yourself into, basically, because it's pretty awesome. Anyway, guys, I will see you next time. Goodbye, my kin.
You see? The Dark Mistress offers her little ones a nest filled with her children. Wake them and seize what they do.